Hello, Amber here and welcome back. Today I'm reviewing episodes 24 through 27, so come on, let's go. Episode 24 revolves around the sun. Wengie is trying to fix the problem of solar interference and she figures it out. Not only is she persistent, but she is probably the smartest person on base, and she's going to use the sun as an amplifier. Now, there's a reason Commissar Lei is not okay with her shooting off a test beam at the sun, and that's because the sun is a symbol of great importance to the people of this era. Shooting anything at it is something he would need to have political clearance to do. I like that this is included because it reminds me of how things shift and change from one period of time to the next. This world was a totally different place then than it is now, just like how the technology back then was totally different than Wang Miao's nanomaterial. If you are familiar with the whole Remembrance of Earth's Past trilogy, you will see advancement and change is a theme that we see over and over again. So Wengie marries Yang Wenning, and this episode has so many incredible moments. The first is that we get to understand her innermost thoughts and fears. Older Wengie narrates a monologue that is both poetic and chilling. We are shown images of pollution, logging, and environmental damage, and she talks about the Cold War and nuclear submarines under the oceans patrolling like ghosts with enough firepower to destroy all of the Earth a dozen times over. She says, in the presence of madness, rationality is powerless, and I get chills. She's had a lifetime of suffering, and you can feel it in her words. Both actresses for both Wengies are very good. I'd also like to point out, I think that the casting department did a phenomenal job here. Not only do the two actresses look similar, but they have a similar way of speaking, and even their posture and body language is alike. I would also like to briefly bring up the topic of censorship. We know that moments of her life have been left out, but this episode does a great job of clarifying her motivations despite that. There are no questions as to why she did what she did. It's smart writing and directing that fills in any gaps the viewers might have. My next favorite moment is her receiving the transmission warning. Do not answer. Do not answer, because it is really great just to finally get this far. Moving to episode 25, we learned that the message was sent by an extraterrestrial pacifist. If Wengie responds, the extraterrestrials will know Earth's location, but she does not care. She hands them the Earth on a silver platter, and there is so much that I like about this episode. One thing in particular was learning about why the Trisolarans fear Wang Miao's nanotech, and it's a really great moment because we get payoff to a plot all the way back from episode 2. The countdown does have importance. His studies are feared because it's an advanced technology, and the Trisolarans do not want any obstacles. Besides this, I just really liked seeing the space elevator. It looked very cool. Also, can we appreciate the moment that they give Da Shi in this episode, please? The music picks up in the background and he walks into the ETO meeting with absolute swagger. He's like the Terminator and I love it. Whether he's raiding a secret organization that wants to wipe out humanity, or dancing, or mopping, or even babysitting, Da Shi is effortlessly cool and he elevates every scene that he is in. If he has a fan club, I am in it. The whole sequence was a lot of fun. I also enjoyed that Wang Miao comes to the ambulance afterwards to make sure he's okay. It is so pure. They are just two dudes who care about each other, and I love that. Anyways, Commissar Lei knows Wengie got a message from space, but for the sake of Yang Wenning's career, he decides not to rat her out. And we move to episode 26. This episode deals with a plotline that I really enjoyed in the books because it's one of the only happy moments we see in Wengie's life, and it left me with conflicted feelings. She has done the unthinkable. She's a traitor to her planet, and her crimes are so great that there isn't even a punishment for them. She has also just killed her husband, yet I still feel sorry for her. When she finds joy and happiness teaching these young children, I'm happy for her. The way that it's presented in the show forces the viewer to confront the duality of her character. She has experienced so much trauma, so when she finds joy teaching the village children, it's really difficult not to be happy for her. I have two favorite scenes from this episode, the one where she becomes sick while giving birth to her daughter and the villagers try to donate blood to her. Then secondly, the one where she's living in the village and they help her raise her daughter. She makes the statement that this whole era of her life felt like she's watching the memories of a stranger. It's a scene with a really big impact. The show has excelled in making Wengie a complex, well-thought-out character, but also a sympathetic villain, and I don't think that's an easy thing to do. The episode ends and we are given information that times are changing and science is no longer being vilified, so Wengie leaves Red Coast Base. Wengie meets Mike Evans. I love the set location of the countryside and the rows of trees and birds singing. It's beautiful and the lighting is ethereal. The actress that plays Wengie looks so peaceful in this environment, and she even speaks a few lines of English, and I think she did a really great job here. Giving lines in your non-native language has to be really hard. My only criticism with this episode is the flashback scene of young Mike Evans witnessing an oil spill with his father. The dubbing was a little bit off, but like I said in my previous video, this show was likely not made with English speakers in mind, so it's not really something that bothers me. I'm reading the subtitles anyways. One thing that I have noticed is that instead of focusing heavily on the Cultural Revolution, the television show focuses on a generalized anxiety of the state of the world. Environmental issues play a bigger role, and I think this works, specifically due to the factions inside of the ETO, but also as a way for Wengie to really bond with Mike Evans. It makes sense because now there is a more interesting conversation between these two characters as they share mutual ideologies. This also is going to make his betrayal much harder for her. Something else that I found very interesting is that the two characters, Mike Evans and Wengie, almost play into a gendered and maybe even cultural stereotype, which I think is really cool. Mike Evans, a Western man, he leads forcefully. He wants the Trisolarans to come down and destroy Earth and all of humanity, while Wengie wishes for the Trisolarans to be like a gentle parent, guiding humanity for the better. It's a concept that I think comes back later in the book series. It could be a coincidence, but I have a feeling that it's not. It feels as though the writers and directors have a really deep understanding of the entire series. Anyways, I'm really happy to see another glimpse of the boat Judgment Day in this episode, and I also really loved getting to see the scene of the Trisolaran fleet. This show has a much larger episode count than most series that I watch, and it also has a smaller budget, meaning less money per episode. So I'm really curious how they did all of these shots with the Trisolaran fleet and the space elevator, because it's actually just really impressive. The episode ends on Wengie admitting that she started this fire, but she couldn't control the flames. Mike Evans is like the big boss at the end of the video game, and I'm so excited to watch these last few episodes. As always, if you like these videos and want to see more Three Body content, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next time.